Bring me a round of applause for Kerri, please.
Yeah, so we want to introduce Kerri Cameron. She is an accidental wall of death rider. Let's start with you're an accidental wall rider. How does that happen?
So yeah, accidental wall rider. I purely came into it through the job centre. I was a horse rider, so nothing to do with motorbikes whatsoever. Where I was working, which was Colchester at the time, it was just a run-of-the-mill riding school, and they decided to close it. So like you do, I went along to the job centre and I just put into the search engine, horse rider. So with horse rider, all the horse-related jobs came up, but one sort of stuck out, which was wall of death rider. So I was like, oh, okay. And I'd never seen a wall of death, never heard of one, didn't know what one was. And so I thought, oh, okay, out of curiosity, looked up the ad. And it said in the ads, nothing to do with motorbikes, no mention of motorbikes, just said, wanted to replace the recently retired lady wall rider. And I thought, oh, stunt riding with horses. You know, I've always been a bit sort of gutsy. So I thought, yeah, I'll go along to that. I don't mind giving stunt riding with horses a go. And when I went to the interview, there was obviously no horses. There was this massive wall of death built up in the yard, and obviously they were riding a different type of horsepower. So I was like, okay, I'm going to look like a complete idiot now, thinking, oh, this is all horse related. But I went and spoke to Ken Fox and all his family. You know, the Fox family have been doing it since the 1920s, and they showed me the tricks and the stunts all on the bikes, and I was totally blown away by what they did. That I knew there and then that I was wanting to do this, and I've done it ever since. So we use the Indian Scout still. We haven't found anything to better these bikes, and these bikes are coming up for like 100 years old, but they're still going strong. We use them for trick riding mainly because they're nice and flat. You know, you can crawl all over these bikes without having to worry too much about sort of kicking the handlebars, because you don't want to be doing that. And yeah, I mean, there's no electrics on them, there's only the magneto, so they're very simple, and they've stood the test of time, and they're just part and parcel of the wall of death now.
It's missing some controls, I noticed.
Like I say, she's very basic. We only have a rear back brake, because we don't really need brakes on the wall. She's left-hand throttle, foot clutch, hand gears, only 3 gears, but so it's a bit takes a bit getting used to with the whole left-hand throttle, getting your head round it. But once you've done it, it's fine. And no return springs, so thus perfect again. Wherever you set the throttle, it will stay there all day long.
And no suspension.
Only on the front. This is it. This is our suspension. So yeah, she is pretty much very much solid, but that's what we want. We don't want too much movement, because we want it all to come from us rather than the bike.
What is it like riding on a wall? Can you describe that sensation, especially the first time you did it? It has to go against all of your
Yes.
your intuitions. Like, this can't be right.
No, I mean, the first thing that, I mean, also you're not driving in a straight line. I mean, for me, it was better because I didn't know how to ride a bike. I had to literally learn to ride this bike from scratch. They say it's better because if you can ride a bike, you can instantly want to go round, and you can only do like a few minutes at a time, because the dizziness kicks in more than, you know, learning to ride the bike and having the skill of riding the bike. So you can only do like 5 minutes, build your tolerance up to 10 minutes, and it sort of works that way, because you're not allowed to go onto the wall until you can see clearly, because if you black out, you're not going to know where you are, and falling off does hurt, as I'm sure you all know. So yeah, it was pretty much my first lesson was sat on the bike with the engine running, getting pushed around like a toddler, so I can just get used to the balance. Because I was doing that and I was only progressing very slowly because I had to learn the gears, get the balance of the bike, I wasn't taking in the fact that I was building up my tolerance to the dizziness. So for me, it was good. It wasn't so boring for me, and yeah, it was a long time sort of progress. It was a bit slow, but we got there eventually, and now I can see it as clear as day as I'm looking at you guys. And yeah, it's just, I mean, going on, it's so hard to describe unless you do it. Because everyone's like, oh, because you're at an angle, do you feel like you're at an angle? But you don't. You know you're at an angle, but you don't feel like you're riding around in a circle at a 45 degree. It's like it's such a strange feeling. It's one of those ones where unless you do it, you can't really know how it feels. But I mean, to me, it's the most exhilarating thing you can do. If you ever get a chance, do it.
What speed do you do?
Not as fast as you think, only 30 miles an hour. Yeah, it's a very thin line of, you go too slow, gravity will just whip you straight off. And if you go too fast, you black out because your heart's having to work 3 times its normal, speed to sort of keep the blood pumped away. Because obviously that's all the blood and everything else is trying to be, with the forces, is trying to be pulled down. So it's 3G. Yeah, so you weigh, it's quite a lot. So yes, there's all these things you've got to sort of build yourself up for, but yeah.
I always ask people if they have a good crash story. I would think yours would be a unique experience. Do you have a good story you can share?
Yes, unfortunately we all have come off at some stage. We try to keep it to a minimum. Yeah, we do very much keep an eye on our bikes, we keep on checking them. I did fall off when I was learning. It was a case of I was going too slow and I touched the wall for the front of my bike, and like I say, it just whips you straight off. It doesn't give you a chance. And unfortunately I fell onto the rear tyre, and I didn't get up quick enough, and the tyre was still going round, and I burnt my bum. I had a lot of offers to rub cream into my bum from all the lads. So.
Wow. So I wonder too, because you're going around on boards, and has everyone experienced the wall of death? It's got this different sound and feel to it. It sounds like creaking and like. At first, is it scary? Do you trust the wall immediately, or do you have to get there?
Yeah, when you first go on, it seems very close. You feel like it's literally there. I mean, everyone experiences it when they first sort of learn. You very sort of feel like you're tunnel visioned, because they encourage you to sort of look round. Mainly for the door, because when you're riding around, because it's all the same colour, you ain't got an idea or clue whereabouts you are. So they train you to sort of look for the door, count what we call like the 4-second rule. It sort of gives you a rough idea of the speed you're sort of going around the wall. And at the top of our wall, we have a red line and a white line, which is like an indication of red, you're near the top, and white, don't go any further because you're going to be in the crowd. So we kind of work towards, the door is our speed marker. So we always go on and we set our speed to the door, and I mean, once you've done it a few times, you can tell by the noise of the bike, so that all sort of comes part and parcel. And we aim, when we go up for dips and stuff, we aim for that red line. I mean, some of us do tend to go over, but generally, that's the areas we stick to, so it gives us a bit of a guideline.
Are there many women doing wall riding, and do you find it's an advantage or a disadvantage being a woman?
I'm good in the respect that the people I ride with, we're all equal. We're not seen as like lady riders or male riders. We are just all the deaf riders. And I mean, there isn't very many women in the world doing it. I mean, there's more now than what there was. I mean, it always has been women, but as far as trick riding has go, I'm the first lady since the 70s to learn to trick ride. That was very much a male-dominated sport. And we've also had lots of ladies come along and learn to ride what we call like a straight ride, so going on the wall, but to do like the tricks and the swing your legs around, this, that and the other. But we are training another lady, unfortunately who couldn't be with us today. She's progressing fantastically. And there's one more lady in Sweden who's a trick rider as well. So like, as far as trick riding is concerned, we are a very small number. But lady riders, definitely, more and more are coming forward, because the thing is, there's not very many walls of death in the world generally, so trying to sort of get females involved, because like me, didn't know what one was, hasn't come across one, so trying to sort of, encourage more women into the sport is definitely a plus, if anyone wants to have a go.
So you mentioned that you're doing tricks. We do have a bike right here. I'm wondering if you can give us some examples of the kind of tricks you're doing while on a wall.
I'm not sure if it's going to be sturdy enough. I'll give it a go. I mean, obviously it's not going to be as spectacular as what you see on the wall.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's going to probably seem really a bit tame on the floor. But yeah, so if you're on the wall, you figure out an angle. So we're going to be, the audience is up here. So we're taking, literally, we rely on everything on this good old girl here to keep her around. Because it's all about sort of keeping your balance, your positioning. So simple things like hands off, feet off, side saddle, you know, over the front, stay still. You know, all this relying on, make sure the bike. I mean, we are, I say, we do like to tend to sort of keep an eye on the bikes. We very much maintain them every day, every show. You know, they're given a full check. Yeah, standing on the side, and look, this doesn't look as spectacular on the floor.
No, that did look spectacular. Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
I can't do that on the street, and you do it on a wall.
Yeah, so anything, any sort of, standing on the side. I won't do it here because it might topple over. Sitting over the bars.
Have you created any new tricks?
I'd like to.
Yeah.
You know, we're in the process. I mean, there's a trick that not a lot of riders have been able to achieve, and it's riding backwards. So yeah, face it that way. A lot of people have tried it. Very few have sort of done it. No woman has done it yet. So that is the aim. That is the aim, to be the first girl to be sitting backwards, because it's only been a man thing at the moment.
Well, that brings up another, tying it into WRWR. You must be an inspiration to women when you're out there riding. And I'm wondering, do you ever get women to come up and talk to you, and have you inspired women directly?
Yes, I'd like to think so. I mean, I have had loads of women. They do come up the front because they're always amazed, because they always go in thinking that you're just a bit of flash in the middle, or you're going to be the girl that sits on the back or sits on the front, like, ooh, look at me, I'm so pretty. But no, when they come out and they see you've actually ridden, then they're so, you can see it in their faces, they're so impressed, and they're like, oh my God. And I'll say, yes, come along, do it. And the mums always go, no. No, you won't do that. But yeah, because I've had loads of girls, loads of women come up saying, oh, how do I get involved? This looks amazing. I'm like, yeah, definitely come along. We teach you from 16, always willing to train new riders. And it's just great that they go away feeling, because they're always telling me their stories as well. They're like, oh yeah, I ride motocross and I do this, that and the other. And it's nice to hear from their side as well, that they're sort of, oh, I'm a woman doing this biking, and there's another woman doing biking. It's great that we're all sort of coming together. And it's nice that you can share stories, because they probably feel the same of, oh, I'm in a very male-dominated sport here, and it's sort of nice to sort of see another female and get chatting about what their experiences are. And it's nice, it is nice. I think I've met myself a lot of new lady riders, and their stories to me, I think, are fantastic. I mean, I know some girls are kicking the ass, sorry boys, but kicking the ass of boys at the moment. And to me, that's an inspiration. So as much as I am to them, I like to think that I am, it's vice versa sort of thing.
So is there anyone here who would like to try riding on the Wall of Death?
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely, definitely. Yes.
So can women learn to ride?
Yes.
How do they go about doing this?
We teach, because like I said, we've got 2 walls of death in this country. There's not very many left, but we are the main ones, and we teach new riders. So it's a case of you'd have to come along with us guys, and we would teach you from scratch. Like I say, it doesn't matter if you can't ride a bike, if you can ride a bike, it doesn't matter either way. I didn't ride a bike, so yeah, I mean, if you're willing to come along and do the time, we're willing to teach you, and like I say, fantastic, more women the better. No, I say everyone's welcome. There's no boundaries as far as it's literally, you just need to be there. You need to be a bit ballsy and go for it.
So I wanted to open it up for questions. Does anyone have any questions for her about riding on the wall?
Life insurance.
Yeah, I didn't tell him. Yeah, there is. Unfortunately, that is a bit of a factor. But then it's like anything in life, you know. If you went around being safe all the time, life would be a bit boring, wouldn't it?
So what might you drive normally, or do you not?
I don't actually have a motorbike license. I want to know.
Good question.
No, I I want to get one because this relay is fabulous. I would have loved to have been out on the road with all you ladies. So I'm pretty gutted. Yeah, no one knows.
I'd like to point out that I think you'd be completely lost on a regular street
I
bike.
really-
She'd be turning her left hand.
I'd be the one stuck on the roundabout as keep going round.
So have you had people actually like reaching down or putting themselves in a dangerous position?
Yeah, we've had you do get some silly people. We went to one festival I believe it was, and someone had actually thrown themselves over the wall and was hanging off the safety cable doing press-ups, or is it press-ups? No, not press-ups. Pull-ups. I'm getting it wrong enough. I can tell I'm not sporty. Yeah, pull-ups. We're like, hang on mate, you're in the wrong part of the show here, you need to be on that side. So yeah, but he was slightly off his head, so.
Aren't you guys also the crew that takes it apart and puts it together every time, or are you part of that too?
Yeah, like I say, we are all equal, you know, we're not treated differently. So yeah, you have to get in there when it rains, when it snows. As much as we love doing it all in the sunshine, yeah, we drive it around, we pull it down, we put it back up every show, every week. So it is a full-on, you know, family run. I mean, not all related, but we have a good, strong team, and we just love it. You know, it's a way of life.
Whenever I've seen wall of death riders, they make it look very difficult. Are you acting? Do you do this? Are you like, oh, this is easy? Oh, this is hard.
No, it's hard. I mean, I've done it so many years that yes, you know, our body's sort of tuned into it all. I mean, don't get me wrong, there'll be times where I'll sit in the wrong position and I know it's wrong. I mean, I won't show the audience that it's wrong. It's very much, oh yeah, don't want to stay here for too long. Because obviously we're very much entertainment based, so you know, they don't like it when you fall off. I've been there when people have fell off in a show, and it's not the best thing.
Is this your favorite bike?
This is actually my Indian, yes. 1927. It's quite an old girl.
Okay, there's no audio. Can you make the sound it makes for us?